Over the course of the year, David slowly begins to realize that the Christian message is true. And then he spends the next 4 years doing nothing but studying how to defend the gospel. And then I walked into the room. And in fact, David had been praying all that morning. He had been saying, God, there's a Muslim on the team. If you want me to share the gospel with him, just open the door. And I just walked right through the door. I was like, hey, I'm here. And so David says, Nabeel, earlier today, I heard you speaking on the phone with your mom. Were you speaking in English? I said, no. And he said, but then I asked you what you talked about with your mom, and you told me in English. Was that a bad translation? No. He said, Nabeel, you're multilingual. You can take what you hear in one language and accurately translate that message into another language, and so were the disciples. Whatever language Jesus was speaking, yes, he spoke Aramaic, but he could have been speaking Greek. Whatever language he was speaking, the disciples heard it, wrote it down in Greek, and we have in our possession today over 5,000 manuscripts of the New Testament in the original Greek. Nabeel, we know with certainty what Jesus said. So this is the biggest hang-up for Muslims. Did Jesus claim to be God or not?
Yeah.
And Muslims believe Jesus is a prophet, but they don't believe he's God. And in fact, the Quran shows Jesus talking to Allah, denying that he ever claimed to be God. And so if you can show a Muslim that Jesus claimed to be God, that will change their perspective of everything. And that was the major battle for me. But when I saw that not just Paul says Jesus is God, in Romans 10:9, for example, and not just Peter saying it in 2 Peter 1:1, but Jesus claims to be God in John's gospel, and not just John, but Matthew, Mark, and Luke. When you start seeing it in the pages of Scripture, that changed everything.